Hi creators, it's Claire from Right Cat, and this week's curly question for you is, are you overwhelmed with even the idea of catching up with your bookkeeping? Are you kind of almost resigned to the fact you're going to have to sacrifice a weekend before the tax deadline to get it done? Now, what happens, one of the problems we face when it comes to tackling something that seems overwhelming like finance is that we allow our brain fog to run the show. What I mean by that is when we don't make the thought of catching up on our bookkeeping into something more actionable like a concrete plan. What happens when we don't do that is all those things, they just ruminate in our minds, they go around and around, and they seemingly blend into one another. We don't have a grasp on what needs to be done, how long it's going to take, and how hard it's going to be. And it's kind of like having, 100 things on your to-do list, because the long to-do list doesn't motivate us. Instead, it tends to lead us to procrastination because we don't know where to start. We haven't separated the urgent and the important from the not really necessary, and it doesn't give us a sense of achievement either, because there are still 97 things to get done, even though we've already ticked some of those things off because we've done them. And we tend to overestimate what we can get done. So at the start of the day, we think we can easily tackle those 100 items, easily. By lunchtime, we've realized probably not going to happen. And then procrastination kicks in and the list goes out of the window. It's exactly the same when we think about tackling our bookkeeping. We don't know where to start. We've not figured out what's the urgent and important. We think we can do it all. We think it's not going to take that long. And then when reality kicks in, we get into procrastination because it gets overwhelming and it gets a bit, depressing. So it's important to acknowledge as well, this isn't just purely a time factor. Those tasks, those items on our to-do list, those transactions that need processing, those receipts that need capturing, they take up mental energy, physical energy, and willpower to get started, and staying power and focus to actually get them finished. And we can only direct that energy to so many things in a day, in a week, or even in a month. So how are you going to tackle that goal of actually catching up with your bookkeeping? Here are a few tips for you. So firstly, make the list easy. Although you need an overarching plan of all the things that need to be done, we don't need to tackle that list straight away. Start with a tiny list of just a few easy things you already know how to do, because now is not the time to start learning the new software or trying to tackle the complex issues. We're behind, we need to get caught up, so we just put a few easy things on a list so we can get started. Secondly, would be to do it in small chunks, because it takes so much less willpower, so much less motivation, and so much less focus to tackle something for 10 or 15 minutes. This isn't sitting down at our computer for hours and staring at bookkeeping software. With our short and easy list and the short time frame, it starts to feel achievable, and that feeling is actually really important. Then the third thing, once we've ticked those easy things off our very short list in a short time, make sure you celebrate what you have achieved. You have started building momentum. You have made progress on that bigger goal of catching up on your bookkeeping. And importantly, we've started to train our brain into thinking, knowing that bookkeeping doesn't have to equal boring, painful, and time consuming. Then it's really important to follow that through again the next day. We gain this mini momentum by doing the same thing again tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. So these seemingly insignificant bursts will really start to add up because we're doing them often, consistently, and we're just tackling those easy things. But what that does is it builds confidence for us to deal with the bigger things, the more complex things. And eventually you will be up to date without needing to sacrifice the whole weekend or having to tear your hair out. So if you need a boost in getting caught up with your bookkeeping, I have 2 ways I would love to help you. So firstly, go and sign up for the free training, Get Your Finances Up to Date Without Pretending You Love Your Numbers, where we're going to look at what really happens when you get behind, why keeping up to date is really important, and we're going to take some actions right on the training to get that bookkeeping momentum started for you. The live training is on Wednesday the 10th of February, but there will be a recording so you can get it at any time. Secondly, you can reach out for a free chat where we talk about what's holding you back from getting caught up on your bookkeeping, and we can talk about my Let's Get Up to Date package, where over 6 60-minute sessions working together one-on-one, we bring your bookkeeping right up to date without the pain, without the overwhelm, and hopefully without the boredom, so that you can get back to your business and making your business its best self. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love you to like the video, ask me any questions or make suggestions in the comments, and you can subscribe to get more business finance content just like this in your feed.